One night in August 1977, as Peggy Hodson was preparing her children for bed, she heard strange noises coming from their room. Initially, these noises were light tapping sounds on the walls, but soon they grew louder and shook the entire house. After the first incident, Peggy noticed that furniture was moving on its own. Strange scratches appeared on the walls, and toys in the children's room were flying through the air. Peggy called the neighbors, who were also shocked by what they saw. They then called the police, who confirmed they saw a chair move on its own but couldn't explain how it happened. As time passed, the incidents became more terrifying. One night, Janet told her mother that something had pulled her from under her bed. Peggy saw the bed moving on its own. After that, blood-like stains started appearing on the walls, and a shadow of fear was visible in Janet's eyes. In another incident, Johnny and Billy reported seeing their toys move by themselves. The house was constantly filled with strange noises. Scratches on the walls increased and furniture kept moving on its own. This case soon caught the attention of the media, and the Daily Mirror newspaper covered it. Reporters and photographers arrived at the Hodson family's home and took many disturbing photos. These photos showed Janet being lifted into the air as if some invisible force was holding her up. These pictures created a sensation across Britain, and the Hodson family story was in every newspaper and TV channel. Famous paranormal researchers Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair started investigating the case. They spent several nights in the house and witnessed many strange events. According to them, Janet, who was 11 years old, was the center of these incidents. They found that Janet's voice often changed and she started speaking like an old man. This spirit identified itself as Bill Wilkins, who had died in that house. Grosse and Playfair conducted several interviews with Janet and made recordings. In these recordings, Janet's voice completely changed. She spoke like an old man. The spirit claimed that it had died in that house and couldn't leave for some reason. The Enfield Poltergeist case gained international fame, and renowned American paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren came to investigate it. The Warren couple thoroughly examined the incident and found that it was not just a poltergeist, but a case of a very dangerous demonic force. Lorraine Warren, who was a clairvoyant, felt a very negative and powerful energy as soon as she entered the house. She said this energy was trying to harm the children. Ed Warren, a demonologist, took the case very seriously and performed several religious rituals and practices to try and calm the spirit. The intensity of the incidents kept increasing. The children reported being pulled from their beds, and strange noises were heard throughout the house. Sometimes an eerie and horrifying voice would come from Janet's throat that didn't sound like her at all.
Mr. Bow.
I'm invisible.
You're invisible? Why are you invisible? I'm a G-H-O-S-T.
Because I'm a G-H-O-S-T.
Once, Janet was found hanging upside down in the corner of the room, which was physically impossible. Grosse and Playfair found in their investigation that the spirit communicated only through Janet. They conducted many interviews and recordings with Janet, where she spoke like the spirit. The spirit claimed it had died in that house and couldn't leave for some reason. Ed and Lorraine Warren, who had already investigated many famous paranormal cases, took this case seriously as well. They met with the Hodson family and inspected the house. Lorraine Warren used her clairvoyant abilities to sense the negative energy in the house. She said it was not just a case of a spirit, but a powerful demonic force trying to harm the children. Ed Warren performed religious rituals and prayers. He advised the family to use religious symbols and prayers to reduce the negative energy in the house. The Warren couple also suggested that the family needed mental and spiritual support to overcome this difficult time. After 2 years of long and troubling events, by the end of 1979, the incidents gradually decreased and finally stopped. During this time, the Hodson family faced many difficult moments, but they eventually overcame this terrifying experience. Ed and Lorraine Warren's investigation and efforts helped understand the case more deeply. The story of the Enfield Poltergeist remains mysterious and terrifying to this day. This incident is not only an important chapter in the world of the paranormal, but also shows that unknown forces can sometimes interfere in our world. The investigation by Ed and Lorraine Warren made this case even more interesting, and their efforts helped us learn more about the incident. This true story sends chills down anyone's spine. The Enfield Poltergeist case is still a significant subject of study for paranormal researchers, and it teaches us that sometimes we need to look beyond our immediate surroundings and understand the signs that aren't visible to us.